Okay, welcome back to another episode of JailBreak Overlander. It has been a while since I've uploaded a video, but I have been busy for the last 2 months. I've traveled from the East Coast to the West Coast once again, like I do quite often. And most of you might know that I sold my 1997 Land Cruiser and I bought a 2019 4Runner TRD Pro. And I had to take this truck and make a few modifications to it. So I did. And when I say I made a few modifications, that might be an understatement because I changed absolutely everything about it, including changing the fact that it was a TRD Pro. Everything that made it a TRD Pro, I removed and replaced with better components. But I wanted to take it for a test drive before I made any videos about it. Now that it's got 10,000 miles on it, I can literally start uploading videos on all the work that I've done to it. But for now, this video is going to cover all the amazing things that I've seen while doing my 10,000 mile test drive. And if you want to see this, because it's astonishing footage, you're going to want to sit back, you're going to want to relax, and you're going to want to check this out. Before I start this video, I'm going to ask you to hit that subscribe button and then hit the little bell next to it so that you get notified of all new videos. Here we go. So I took my new truck build that has yet to have been tested and I headed out of Boston in a hurry. And I headed west. I love out west. I'm always out west. If I'm not home, I'm out west, or I'm heading out west, or I'm getting ready to head out west. One of the three. But I love it out here. I love it out here because of the wide open spaces, the people, the sights, the sounds, and the animals. And I love getting video of them. And it's amazing the amount of animals that you run into on the road, as well as the scenery. And in this video, you're going to see plenty of both. So buckle up, Buttercup. Here we go. Again. So seals and sea lions, you expect to see them when you're on the Oregon coast, the California coast. If you stop at any of the roads that are close to the ocean and look down, chances are you might see a seal or an entire pod of sea lions like this. But I found myself at a campground in Oregon, and it had a beautiful river, and it was about 10 miles away from the coast. and I'm checking things out, and I see this strange object in the water, and I can't figure out what it is. I'm thinking it's a beaver or a large muskrat, and I'm looking all over for it, trying to figure out what it is. And then I look down and see this guy. He's 10 feet away from me, not even. And right after he floats away, I notice a kingfisher landed in a tree across from me. And I noticed that he was hunting. So he's doing his thing, and of course he's got to wait for the Canadian geese to pass because Canadian geese are always in the way one way or the other. But then finally, boom, he nails it. And I got it on film, which is a very rare thing, but it was awesome. So check this little guy out as he leaps off the perch, boom, into the water, grabs his fish, which I'm guessing was probably a minnow, and then he flies back up to another perch, and he is good to go. Beautiful. Now let's jump back. We're in Oregon right now. Let's go back to Idaho real quick, where I found a state park in the middle of the night, and I parked my truck in a very stealth fashion and then did some video. Now I'm on the lookout for owls.
I just got smited by that. There's two of them. Got a long reach.
So I'm in a park in Idaho that closes at sunset. Well, I'm parked right outside the park. So I'm kind of weaseling around the perimeter looking for birds and instantly see this young fella. This is a fledgling great horned owl. But at first glance, I thought it was something else. Not that I don't love great horned owls, but I get video of them absolutely everywhere. I was looking for a different type of owl. My main goal was a barn owl, but you can never find them. That is until I stop at this train intersection in Oregon. I was just chasing this train on the highway. I managed to pass him and set up my camera. Now it's pouring rain out, and there's one of these big things next to the road that covers up the salt and sand they throw on the highway. So before the train comes, I duck under it, to protect myself from the rain till the train shows up. And lo and behold, a barn owl. I mean, I am almost face to face with him, and he's just sitting there staring at me. I could not believe it. These birds are almost extinct, or they're endangered. I know that much, which is sad because they used to be everywhere. But people poison their crops, they poison rats, and the owls eat them, and it kills them. And it's sad, but it is what it is. It's the world we live in now. But I finally managed to score footage of a barn owl, and I was so excited I couldn't stand it. And he's just sitting there looking at me like, oh my goodness, I've been trying to get video footage of Richie from Boston for years. I never thought he'd show up here in Oregon. And here he is in his flip-flops and shorts in the pouring rain. But I think I've been watching him for too long, and maybe it's time to take off. And that's what he did. I was so happy to have had an opportunity to see this particular bird. I can't even explain it. And he flew away, and I couldn't find him to save my life. So, back on the road, I found myself heading towards Wyoming to meet up with a couple of people. And something I didn't know about Wyoming, other than the incredibly wild weather and long stretches of road, were it's home of pelicans. I did not know that whatsoever at all, but pelicans in Wyoming are a huge thing. Never knew this in my entire life. Right out in the middle of the desert, there's a large pool of water, and it's absolutely loaded with pelicans. It was pretty amazing. So I make it out to Wyoming, to where I'm actually heading. I set up camp with a few people, and people in Wyoming do what people in Wyoming do. And it's a pretty nice lifestyle they have out here. A lot of this going on. Now, you can't talk about the wildlife of Wyoming without mentioning the Great Pyrenees. Right here, you're watching me play a game of tag with a 9-month-old dog. Now, someone left a comment in another video claiming that dog's not 9 months old. Well, actually, according to its papers, its date of birth, the veterinarian, the person that sold it, and the owner, yes, it is 9 months old, and he's massive. And he wants to catch himself a drone. Now, I've lost a drone by Mount St. Helens, I've lost a drone over NORAD, and I almost lost a drone to a giant puppy because he just missed it. But I digress. As beautiful as Wyoming is, and as expansive as it is, and as many people as I know in Wyoming, I still need to roam. I have a difficult time staying still, so I hit the road, as I often do. And I headed towards Yellowstone Park, only to discover that Yellowstone was inaccessible due to the rivers being overflowed. And the rivers were running pretty dang high, if I had to say so myself. So I had to find other ways to amuse myself, which I did. I found some rural farm roads with some really old structures I wanted to videotape. And while I did that, I spooked a herd of young elk that I didn't even see sitting there. And it appeared that they were all very young elk, all of them. I didn't see a mother or a bull around anywhere. And these two guys were having a difficult time figuring out how to get through the barbed wire. It took them a little while, and I put zero pressure on them. I was quite a distance back. I'm filming with a 200mm lens. And they eventually found their way around it. And it was pretty awesome watching them. And after they figured they were safe enough, they just stood and watched me. And I watched them. It was a thing that we were doing. And it worked out for everyone. It took the little guy at the end there a little while to find his way. But once he did, they were on the other side of the barbed wire just watching me. And I slowly and quietly backed away and drove away. All was well. My next interaction with wildlife was an osprey hunting on this beautiful pond in Oregon a couple of days later. And then, of course, I found more sea lions once again because they're not all that hard to find. Look over any cliff face headed towards the Pacific Ocean, and chances are you're going to see a bunch of them laying around like mouse turds in a cupboard. Because that's what they look like. JMO. And I guess we'll wrap this up with a bull snake that I tried to rescue from the side of the road after he got hit by a car. It was pretty sad. It appeared that his spine was broken and the ants were already getting to him, yet he was still quite alive and trying to strike me repeatedly. So I grabbed my tripod, I scooped him up and tossed him into the weeds, so at least he wouldn't get hit by another car, eaten by a vulture, or eaten by ants, which was pretty horrible, I thought. At any rate, there's more to come, and now that I've test driven the truck for over 10,000, I'm now going to start uploading videos on installation of the gull wing windows, of the exhaust, of the suspension, and the truck in general, so you can take a good look at everything that was involved in this particular build. At any rate, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below, and I will try to return your favor. I am out.